What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another Dragonflight video. So with patch 10.0.5 coming out in just about 2 weeks or 1.5 weeks from now, I thought now would be the perfect time to sit down and have a chat about Dragonflight professions. There are a lot of quality of life upgrades coming in the coming patch, but there's one thing they have been missing out on, and one thing that I think personally should be coming in that patch, considering they're coming with so many good changes, and at this point there's only really one thing I can think about that people are still unhappy with when it comes to the expansion so far, and something that is not coming out in 10.0.5, and that is a catch-up system for Dragonflight professions. So in this video I want to give my thoughts on this subject, and I want to provide you guys with some alternate suggestions on what they can do when it comes to Dragonflight professions, and you can let me know if you agree or disagree with my statements in the comments down below, and let me know some alternative suggestions as well in the comments down below, so we can have like a discussion going on what they can do for Dragonflight professions. Before that though, because we are talking about Dragonflight professions in this video, I do want to give a massive shout out to everyone who's checked out my Dragonflight gold guide so far, and in that gold guide we also talk about professions in length, both crafting professions and farming professions as well, talking about professional specialization points and which specializations you should go for certain types of gold making methods. So if you want to have a more deep understanding of professions in Dragonflight, and you want to make more gold in Dragonflight, well, definitely do consider checking out that gold guide through the link down below. This is currently a 170 pages long PDF document for gold making, with a lot of updates coming in the expansion, and you will of course get those updates for free as well. And when you purchase the guide, you will get access to a private Discord server, and also early access to videos and exclusive videos as well, which are posted in that Discord server. So with that being said, let's take a look at some feedback that you guys have given from the guide as well, if you want to have some external information and some feedback that other people have provided about the guide. So here we go. With that being said, let's take a look at Dragonflight professions and what I personally think they can do when it comes to professions in Dragonflight. So first of all, I'll be using my own professions as kind of an example in this video, just to show you how far some people can be in professions. And considering I did not even use the dirt farming at the start of the expansion myself, I've only really, like, the one thing I have done is gotten my Artisans Consortium to max level, which I personally did by doing profession shuffles, which can no longer be done, but you can get here now. Like for example, I have an alt that also has this now, just by doing world quests with the Artisans Consortium contract available. So doing all the world quests all the time with that contract, it actually gives you a significant amount of reputation with the Artisans Consortium. That being said, I have a lot of knowledge points for both enchanting and alchemy, at least I think so myself. There's definitely some people out there with more profession points than I have as well, but I definitely have quite a few of them. So for example, for enchanting, we can see my setup right here. So as you can see, I have spent about 96 points into enchantment alone. So I have 30 points spent here, I have 3 points spent here for whatever reason. We have 50 points spent here, 10 points and 3 points. On top of these 96 points, I also have all of these points right here, which is another 80 points spent into rods, runes and ruses. And I have 0 points spent here, but that gives me a total of 176 points spent into enchanting. While if anyone new to the game picks up Dragonflight right now and start doing the same, there is no way they get to this amount of knowledge points. It's gonna take them like over a month. So I do think a lot of people are picking up expansion now, or also picking up professions right now, and they see that they're so far behind that they just instantly quit, because, well, you're so far behind, you're never gonna catch up, and when you catch up, the people that were ahead of you will still be ahead of you. You will just catch up to where they were, and now they are even further ahead once again. So what I would like to see Blizzard do here is some sort of catch-up system, and I actually saw someone post a comment on my video about this, and it's not really a bad idea. Imagine we have weekly quests available right now, right? And imagine if there was a catch-up system, like Valor, for example. So right now, there's a Valor cap, and it allows everyone who didn't cap their Valor last week to cap even more Valor this week. So for example, the people who start playing the game now can get just as many knowledge points from weekly quests as we have gotten from weekly quests. So for Alchemy, for example, that is 6 knowledge points per week, and it's the same thing for Enchanting, it's 6 knowledge points per week. So it will allow everyone to get 6 knowledge points per week, but also for all the weeks they have missed so far in the expansion by doing a couple of catch-up quests to get those knowledge points. That way, those of us who are actively playing the game still are a little bit ahead of other people, because we want to be rewarded for our time, and the fact that we have been grinding out knowledge points should matter to some degree. But I do think for the weekly quest at least, there should be a catch-up system. So you get 6 knowledge points per week, and so far we are I think we're about 6 weeks into the expansion. So I personally think anyone who picks up the game right now should get 36 knowledge points worth of weekly quests that they can do just to catch up on the weekly quest. Because you have to remember, outside of weekly quests, you can also grab up to 4 additional knowledge points. There's 2 from like open world creatures, there's 2 from open world treasures as well. So anyone who has been actively playing the game will still be quite a bit ahead, but it does give everyone who's just starting out, or anyone who's switching professions, a bit of a catch-up, so they don't feel like they're massively behind, because right now they are behind by like over 100 knowledge points in this case, because they're so far behind, not just from weekly quests, but once again from the treasures as well, and all the other stuff you can do to get knowledge points on a weekly basis. So they are already quite far behind, and I do think giving them the option to catch up as much as possible would be a great thing here. Also, there's 2 more things I want to talk about that I have seen some people complain about ever since the launch of Dragonflight, and I kind of do agree here. The Dragonflight professions are kind of complicated, and because they are so complicated, I think there should be some sort of a reset system. Like when I pick talents right now as a rogue, I can change these talents. They're not going to stay this way forever. I can change these talents anytime I want, or at least I can change them to some degree. So if I pick a talent by mistake, I have the option to correct that mistake later down the line. And I think the same should be done with professions. You have the same setup right now, where you can look at, for example, professions, and you can go into the specialization point, and this is basically you putting a talent into your profession. And the way it works right now, there's no reset. There's no weekly reset, there's no monthly reset, there's absolutely no way to reset your knowledge points. So if you spend one by mistake, you just messed up for the entire expansion. I do believe at some point, like, it would make sense if they were to bring in some sort of a reset system, and personally I think that should be coming out now in patch 10.0.5, because we learn a lot about professions as we go on, but a lot of people spend their first few points in week 1 and week 2 totally wrong. Like, a lot of people just place their talent points based on probably recommendations as well, because not everyone who made guides and stuff had the perfect information either. So a lot of people just place their talents where they don't want them now. So looking back, they know exactly what to do, but during week 1 and week 2 they had no clue. Myself included, by the way. I have several professions where I have the entire wrong setup right now, but for Enchanting I'm pretty happy. I'm actually somewhat happy. I have been putting some talents wrong, but they have been for Goldmaking reasons. So for example, the the burning one I have right here was just to reach a certain skill point to craft burning enchantments, and also craft them with a higher rank while crafting them to get more gold while crafting. So this one, for example, was meant to be. This one was kind of a mistake, but I was trying to go into making the draconic inspiration, which then the next week became unprofitable, so I just kind of forgot about those plans. But there should be some way to reset your talent points here, and for that reason I want to bring in 2 suggestions that I have when it comes to how this could work without having a massive influx on the market, or massive input on the market basically. Because if you allow people to respec all they want, then that would just cause people to respec all the time. So for example, I would go into alchemy, I would create potions, then I would you could just do so much more with so much less points. You could spec into researching, for example, potion experiments, to then learn all the potions. Then you could just remove these 20 points, put them back into batch production, and you can, after you have made enough potions for the week, you can do the same thing for files as well. And once you have done all of that for files, you can then go into transmutation, get some gold from transmutes, then you can go into inspiring and create materials as well. I do believe there should never be free transfers, like a free reset. There should not be to the point where you can reset your talent points 24/7, because that would basically just destroy the whole system. That should not be a thing, but there are 2 suggestions that I want to bring to the table, and if you have any more, then please let me know in the comment section down below, because these are just the 2 that I can think about. But first of all, have a weekly quest for shards, and then you can combine 10 shards into a reset. So basically you can you basically do a weekly quest to get 1 or 2 fragments. Personally, I think it should be 1, that way you get 1 reset every 10 weeks, which gives you 5 resets per year. It's not massive, but it gives you a way out. If you know you made a mistake, you know that in 10 weeks, you can totally reset your knowledge points and reset your profession, and then just have those 10 weeks to perfect your craft, know exactly where to put all those profession points, and it also gives you a reason to play the game for 10 weeks, which I do think Blizzard loves, because that gives them 10 weeks of game time. That makes you pay for the game for 10 weeks, which is 3 months of game time, so in this case, it's a win-win scenario. It gives us a way to reset our professions, it gives Blizzard an incentive to put this into the game, because it keeps players playing the game for longer, and it just keeps them with a active game time, even if it's just for this weekly quest. So having a weekly quest that gives you a fragment or a shard, and then combining 10 of those fragments or that shard gives you an item that will then allow you to reset 1 or both of your professions. I don't really know if it should be 1 or both, but that's up to, I guess, Blizzard or you guys in the comment section. Number 2, this is a infinite reset system, but you lose 10% of your knowledge points every single time. So for example, let's say right now I have 150 points in alchemy, which is probably not too far off actually, 150, 160. If we say 150, if I had an infinite reset system, this would make it so next time, if I reset now, I would go back with 135, so I would lose 15 out of my 150 knowledge points upon this reset, and it keeps going that way, so every single time you reset your knowledge points, you lose 10%. That way you can reset a lot more frequently, but you also lose 10% every single time, so it kind of pays off not to do it too much. But those are just the 2 suggestions that I could come up with for this video, and I do think this is something Blizzard should put into the game sooner rather than later. Let me know what... Voice crack? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I would be very, very interested to hear your input on this subject, and let me know if I'm completely out of my mind here, which could happen, who knows. Either way, I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider dropping a like down below, and subscribe to the channel for more Dragonflight content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.